y'all, today is so exciting because this is my 10th video so far, and I am so pumped that you guys are loving this website and still continuing to interact with me and watch and stay tuned for what I'm putting up. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it, and I hope to continue to help you all in the future with the videos that I have coming out next. So today's segment is not a general topic like it has been. Today is actually going to be all about you, and that is through the questions that you guys have sent in. Now, I've asked throughout my videos that you send in any topics you feel like need to be covered or gone over, or if you guys just have questions about. So I've gotten some questions as I've gone throughout looking at some of your messages that I can't exactly do a whole video on, but because I still feel like they're important and you guys are asking, I want to answer. And so today is just going to be questions that need answers, questions that you guys have asked that you feel like you really want answered, and even though I can't do necessarily a whole video about it. So I will be checking down at my notes to make sure I get all your questions, so just bear with me as I get through. So my first question is, I saw you post about the best yes in your last video. Could you tell me more about it? Yes, The Best Yes is one of my favorite books by Lisa TerKeurst, and she is an incredible, amazing, awesome author. She writes some really great stuff. The Best Yes is the only one I personally read, but I've heard her other books are also really great. So The Best Yes is about being a woman or a young lady who understands what's best for her financially, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And whenever you have a lot on your plate, especially in middle school, high school, and in college, even into the adult world as you become in the workforce, there is so many times where you're like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, and somebody wants to meet me for lunch, or somebody wants to go to the mall with me, or somebody just wants to hang out, or somebody needs something from you. And sometimes you don't necessarily want to say yes because you are so full. And The Best Yes really defines what you need to say for your own health, really. Because sometimes we just get to a point where we can't do it all. And it's not being mean, but you can't pour into somebody when you're empty yourself. So The Best Yes goes over 4 things to make sure that you're able to help people. And that is financially, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And those are all from Lisa TerKeurst. And you have to be able to say yes to each of those 4 things before you can commit to something. Do you have the money financially to take a friend to lunch? Do you have physically the time to take them to the lunch? Do you even have time to go to lunch or go to the mall or go out to eat? Spiritually, are you strong enough in your faith to mentor this person? And emotionally, are you in a mindset, has something traumatic just happened to you that you can't get through, or maybe you're just too overwhelmed? You have to be able to answer all those questions yes for you to feel like it is a yes that is your best. And that's a little bit about that book. So I'd greatly encourage you to read it. I also think there's ways to read just a couple chapters of it online if you wanted to check into it before you bought the book. I know I got mine at a Christian Lifeway store, but you can definitely order it on Amazon or somewhere online. So the next question I have is, how do you say so happy and confident all the time? Well, I'm going to tell y'all that is not true. I'm not confident and happy all the time. And that's not because I'm not generally confident and happy, but I don't want ever for you guys to feel like I have this perception of me that shows that I have this perfect life, because nobody does. We see all these models and pageant girls and all these people out here that have flawless Instagram. They can post several pictures every day on Instagram with a full face of makeup, and they always have the best clothing. And while that's awesome and great, and I love that they're living their life that way, I feel like I want to be able to show people that not everything is perfect all the time, because it isn't. We all have struggles in our life. But it shouldn't let you hinder you from living an overall happy and confident life. So whenever you think that maybe your situation or the way that you are in your life right now isn't good or isn't a place where you want to be, don't let that stop you from changing it and becoming happier and making the situation how you want it to be. You can take control of your life. And that's what's so great about living in a country like America. We can go out and do whatever we want, whenever we want, to pursue our dreams. And I just want to encourage you guys to not get so caught up on what Instagram models are doing, but really think about what makes you happy. In one of my videos, I talked about passion, and that's really where I stem my happiness and confidence from. It's from the kids that I babysit, the kids that I teach swim lessons to. I love seeing them grow, and that gives me so much happiness and confidence because I see where I can make an impact in their lives. So rewatch the passion video and try to find that passion within you, because that's where you'll stem your happiness and confidence from. What do I do if someone is drama all the time? How do I stop drama? Well, there's no simple answer for that one. I'll tell you that right now. And the reason it's so hard sometimes to be in middle school is because of the drama, and even high school, of course. There's still drama in college sometimes. But I think the most important thing is to realize where the drama is stemming from. Now, if you have a friend in particular that you feel like if they're constantly talking bad about somebody or not doing things that they're supposed to do, like disobeying their parents or engaging in behavior you know is not right, it could be a boy or a girl or maybe a whole group of friends, it's best to just distance yourself. Now, you don't have to have this automatic cut off, even though maybe that sometimes that's best, just saying, hey, like, you know, I've really appreciated our friendship, but I just don't think we can be friends anymore. At the moment, I'm having trouble being myself, and I really want to hold true to who I am, and I'm going to work on me for a while. That's okay to say. But I feel like the best way is to start making other friends and to not limit your circle, because you may have a few that don't always fit with your lifestyle, and you want to try to make sure that you are always doing the best for you to make you successful in life. And that means to be kind and to be honest and to be truthful. So just take that time to think about who your true friends are and make plans so that you don't have to say no to those old friends with no sort of excuse. Keep yourself busy and keep yourself away from the people that you feel like are tearing you down, because you never want to just be involved in drama the whole time. That's no fun. My next question is, what happens when you hit puberty in middle school? Well, that's a tough question, because everybody's bodies is going to be a little different, and this is really a topic I would encourage you guys to handle with your parents. But what I am going to say is that as you develop, you are going to have to start wearing bras, and you have to get checked for that to make sure that you're wearing the right one. So look into that with your mom or your dad or whoever's watching you. And if you don't feel comfortable with anybody, maybe ask an older adult that lives near you, or maybe a teenager that lives near you that you feel like you could help you a little bit more. Because those are the kinds that you do need help. I mean, it's hard to go through middle school and be in puberty, and I know it's not fun because every girl's been there. And so that's going to be your first step. Well, when you get your period for the first time, if you're at school, then I would go tell your teacher. Now, if your teacher is a male or you're not comfortable with the teacher that you're telling them, just tell them that you need to go to the nurse and it's an emergency. The nurse can get you the stuff that you need, and they can give you an excuse for your teacher, because your teacher has to let you go to the nurse if that were to happen. Make sure you talk to your parents, because that's something that they do need to know. Even if it's hard and awkward, it's something that they have to be aware of so that they can help you get the right stuff for it. I see you post and talk about God, and I go to church, but I still don't understand why there's so much bad in the world if there's a God. Now, there's two parts to this question because it's not an easy one. So the basis of this question is, why is there so much bad in the world if there's a God? And yes, that's hard to kind of wrap our head around, but the first part of this question is, the first answer to this question is that, Adam and Eve sinned from the start. Adam and Eve ate the apple, which God told us not to do. And so that has inevitably led to all the bad and all the hurt that we have led to in this world. The second part of this question is, it's hard to understand why things are the way they are when you see it from one perspective, which is our own. but God has a bigger perspective, and so we can't quite fully see why he does things. And he gives us the chance to love him because he doesn't make him our only choice. If God was the only person we could love and there was no bad or no other things to love in this world, then it wouldn't really be love because we would have no choice. So sometimes we do go through hard things, or we get caught up in things we shouldn't, because we have to show our dedication to the Lord throughout everything. Because if we only had one choice but to do good and to do the right things and only go through happy things, how does that show that we actually love God? Because we don't have a choice to. So he actually gives us that choice here on earth to love him and to show our love and care for him. Our last question is, I really like a guy, but I'm scared to tell my parents about him. Should I date him and just let them find out or not? So I think what this person's asking is, should they just date the boy and not tell their parents, or to date the guy and or not date him, I believe is what the question is. And so I would recommend first evaluating what I said earlier with the best yes steps. Are you able to have a boyfriend in your life at the moment? Do you feel like you are emotionally ready for a boyfriend? And sometimes that's hard to answer when we're not quite 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. But I had a boyfriend in 8th grade, and I thought it was a good learning experience. It learned what I want to look for in a guy and how I wanted to be treated. But I would definitely recommend telling your parents, because if you can't tell them, then it's going to be really hard to hang out with them outside of school. If you don't want to tell your parents right away, I would talk to your school counselor, or even another adult that you trust, like an aunt or a grandma, and ask them what they think you should do. I don't know everybody's circumstance, but depending on your age too, your parents might have some restrictions on when you can start dating. But you know what? The best thing is that true love will wait. So if you don't feel comfortable telling your parents yet, then I don't think you're comfortable enough to date yet. And I think that if the guy really likes you, he can wait a year or 2 or 3 to whenever you can start dating to be able to date you. And that would be my best advice, is to wait until you are ready to tell your parents and they are allowing you to date. I definitely wouldn't go behind their back. Like I said, you can definitely tell another adult what you want to do first. Say to my aunt or to my school counselor, like, this is what I'm struggling with. If I really like this guy, but I don't know if my parents will let me. And they can give you more advice, especially if they know who your guardians are, on how to approach the subject. Well, that is all the questions I had from you guys. So if you have more, please send them in. I will definitely get to them in my upcoming videos, whether they're broad topics or another Q&A like this one is. I will definitely get to them. So thank you guys so much for staying faithful, and as always, embrace different. Bye.